Hi, welcome to One Acadiana's Candidate Conversation Series. I'm Keely McGibney, and this is Andre Bro here on the team at One Acadiana. We're bringing you candidate conversations so that you can get to know folks who are running to represent you for offices across Lafayette Parish.
That's right. And for this conversation, we're joined by David LeJeune, candidate for Lafayette Parish School Board District 1. David, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Well, let's start by giving the audience a chance to get to know you a little bit better. Tell us about yourself and your background in the community.
Okay, my name is David LeJeune, of course. I am running for Lafayette Parish School Board District 1. I am a 34-year public school educator. I retired 2 years ago as the principal of Acadiana High School, and I have lived in the Scott area for 27 years. The majority of my family lives here. My parents live here. I have a brother that lives here, and my sister lives a couple of miles away. So we're all pretty much entrenched in the community of Scott. And a little bit about my career. I was an English teacher, and I taught health and physical education. I coached football, baseball, basketball, and a little track. I also sponsored extracurricular clubs and organizations. One of my favorite clubs that I sponsored was the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. So upon leaving the coaching and the teaching field, I went into administration. I got my master's from McNeese. I became an assistant principal. And then the last 9 years of my career, I was the principal of Acadiana High. I'm married to Cheryl LeJeune. She is also an educator. She retired after 35 years. She was an English teacher and finished up her career as an assistant principal in the parish. She was actually at Acadiana for a little while. And then when I got the principal job at Acadiana, I couldn't be her boss. So she had to move to another school. You know, it was a big sacrifice for her, and I appreciate that. My brother, I have a brother who's also a retired educator. He retired with 40 years of service and spent his last job as the interim superintendent in Lafayette Parish. His wife, Patricia, also a retired educator. She worked in the special ed department at Lafayette High School. And I have a niece also. She's an English teacher, or was an English teacher at Acadiana, is now a counselor at Acadiana. So we come from I said all that, said just so you know, I come from an educational family, a lot of experience in the system within our family, and public education has been very important to me and my family, and it's been very good to me and my family.
Well, great. It's great to learn more about you, and I think it's a great transition into the next question, which is just, what inspired you to run for school board?
Well, that's easy. My background, of course, being in education for 34 years, retired, and I spent a couple of years, saying, hey, how can I give back? I still have a lot to give. And I said, well, this is an opportunity for me to run for school board. It gives me the opportunity to use my experience and all of my relationship that I've built for the last 34 years. When voting for policies and procedures, I'll know how it's going to affect the stakeholders. So I'll have that to fall back on. And I've been a leader for a long time, and I want to continue to be an educational leader. And this gives me an opportunity to lead the education in District 1. I led as a teacher in the classroom. I led as a coach and a sponsor. I helped lead the school as an assistant principal. And the last 9 years, I was the leader of a 5A school in Lafayette Parish. So all of that's given me the experience to become a school board member. And also I want to represent the stakeholders in District 1. I want to represent the kids. I've always been an advocate of kids. I think they need to be successful, and they need to have someone who's going to fight for them for that success. I also want to represent the teachers, of course, the administrators, the support staff that basically runs the school, and the parents. A lot of people forget about the parents, but they're a very important piece to this puzzle, because education doesn't stop at 3 o'clock when school lets out. The parents are there to reinforce what went on that day, and to get them ready to go for the next day. So that's kind of the reasons why I've decided to run. And I think I'd be a very good school board member.
Well, given your many years in public education and your family's many years in public education, I'm sure you know the issues well. Are there specific issues, if you're elected, that you would be prioritizing? And we'll start with near-term issues. What issues in the near term would you like?
I think near term, I think we have a couple of things that is becoming pretty critical, within our system. Our literacy rate needs to improve. So that can only come from improving our early childhood education, getting those kids ready to go. If you can't read, you can't be successful, and you have to learn to read, and you have to learn to comprehend what you read. If you get to a certain grade and you're not grade level, you're going to fall behind. And if you fall behind, it's very, very hard to catch up. So I think that's one thing we need to do. Our literacy rate in Louisiana is 40th in the nation. So we have some work to do in the state, but we can only start here in Lafayette Parish and build from there. They've made some great strides in the parish. Ms. Trosclair, when she was the superintendent, and now Mr. Touchette, they're making some great strides in early childhood education and doing a lot of focusing on the literacy rate. And I'd like to get involved in that too. Just from my grandkids, seeing their ability, and growing their reading level, you can see how important it is that early childhood literacy rates need to improve. And then also, I think we have super talented teachers in the classroom right now. They do an outstanding job. As the principal, when I would do walkthroughs and I would do my formal and my informal observations, it was amazing to see how talented they were and how well they taught the subject and the objective for that day. But unfortunately, we are having some of those talented teachers leave the profession. They're going to other places. They're going outside of education. They're going into some of the other schools. And we need to figure out how to keep those talented people in the classroom for the long haul, because talented teachers make talented students. And so we need to figure out how to maintain that. And we also need to understand, how do we recruit new people into the field of education? Because those teachers, those talented teachers, are either going to become administrators or they're going to retire. And we need to have people that are going to fill their place and fill the void that those teachers leave. And so we need to figure out how to get more talented, younger people into the profession, whether it be through UL or through the numerous certification programs we have that enable people with a degree to become teachers. So that's another initiative that I'd like to tackle, is making sure that the teacher field remains as strong as it is right now. Because if we don't, in 10 years, we will have a teacher shortage. And because we do have, in a couple of subjects right now, math and certain sciences, we do have a shortage. And it's tough to get those quality teachers back into the classroom. And I think without those quality teachers, our system will suffer a little bit.
Great. And you just mentioned thinking 10 years into the future. And so if we transition to looking at long-term challenges, as you look, years into the future, what else do you see? What long-term challenges do you think the school board is going to be facing?
Well, definitely. And I'm going to speak from District 1 because that's what I represent. Our aging facilities are becoming an issue. We're overcrowded. We're one of the few areas in the parish that still have an abundance of portable buildings. So we're going to have to do something in the future to alleviate that overcrowding and build some wings or some additions to the schools to help alleviate and get rid of those portable buildings. But the area, District 1, is a high growth area right now. A lot of people are building this area, and all we're doing, if all we do is use buildings to get rid of the portable buildings, we're still going to have the same overcrowding issue. We need to figure out how to build for the future, because our system right now needs a lot of new builds. the board right now has done a great job. The new Prairie is unbelievable. The new Truman's going to be a beautiful place. Karen Crow Heights, and of course the new Lafayette High and Southside, all beautiful facilities. And I would like our kids to be able to go to school in facilities that look like that. But I know right now that our number one objective is just to make sure we build academic wings or academic spaces to help alleviate the problems that we've had. In the original District 1, the district has shifted a little bit, but in the original District 1, we haven't had any upgrades to our academic facilities. We've had a few for the athletics, and we had some cafeterias and some libraries, but the actual classrooms, we haven't had new additions built or new wings built for the academics. And all kids deserve to go to school, in beautiful, nice buildings, clean. And then also with new facilities come the issue of security and safety. That's becoming, unfortunately, the society we live in right now, we got to make sure our kids are safe. We got to make sure our teachers are safe, our administrators. So we have to figure out with new bills, how do we get those structures to be safe also, and to not use so much manpower for the safety part, but build it into the structures of the schools like they have with Prairie and some of the new bills. So that's an ongoing issue too, is going to be the safety and the security of our kids and teachers.
Well, as an economic development organization, One Acadiana loves to see that population growth that you're talking about, and we love talking about the great things going on in our public schools. If you were talking to a family that was looking to move into the parish, what would you tell them about public education in Lafayette?
Well, I tell them they're moving to Lafayette at a great time. Our district is on the rise. Our school system just moved into the top 10 in the states. And we have an opportunity with the next scoring cycle to become the A-rated district that the district has been striving for. So hopefully in October, we'll have that good news, when that new cycle comes through. But there's also a lot of advantages in Lafayette Parish that a lot of the other districts didn't provide. You can tailor, and I'll tell them, you do your research, you can tailor your children's talents to the schools of choice that we have. We have academies built in that will strengthen that talent, and let them to build on what they're really talented in and what they want to do later on in life. So they have an opportunity. Doesn't matter where you move, it doesn't matter where you live in the parish, you have an opportunity to go to these schools of choice. So just explore that and, learn what's going to actually help your child by, being in one of the schools of choice programs, because they're outstanding. The academies are outstanding, and it's a wide range of curriculum that you can go into with those academies. So, and also, if that's not for you, if schools of choice are not for you, the schools we have in place with the teachers and the administrators in the central office, it's a great time to come to Lafayette Parish. You can be as successful as you want going to any one of our schools. They're all outstanding. And whatever you put into it, of course, is what you're going to get out of it. And then if like extracurricular your things or athletics is, things you like to do. I mean, our athletic program in this parish, is basically second to none. We're competing for championships in all the sports. And then our clubs and organizations from FFA to robotics, there's just such a wide range of things for kids to do in our parish. So it's just a great time to join and become a student in the Lafayette Parish school system.
Now we'll give you a chance to talk to a family that already lives in District 1. What would you tell that family about why they should vote for David LeJeune for school board?
Well, it's pretty simple. I tell them all, and I've spent a lot of time door to door and visiting with people. And I tell them, look, I'm not a career politician. I am a career educator. I will fight for your students and your education system like I fought for the kids at Acadiana. And I want to make sure that I will use my experience, my 34 years, to vote on policies, procedures that are going to benefit District 1 and So it's kind of exciting when I talk to these people because they do get excited. I tell them, do you want an educator on the board? And the majority of them say, it's probably a pretty good idea that we get an educator on the school board, somebody that they can fall back on when there are educational questions. And just my 34 years in the system gives me an advantage, when it comes to certain responsibilities that go along with being a school board member. And it's just something that I want to do. I'm in it for the right reasons. I'm in it for the kids, I'm in it for the teachers, and I'm in it for all of the stakeholders, because I really want District 1 to be successful. It's where I live. It's where I spend the majority of my time, and I know a great deal of people, and I just want what's best for District 1.
Well, thank you, David. We truly appreciate you being here to make time to help the community get to know you. And on that note, our last question is, how can voters engage with you? How can they get more information before they head to the polls in October?
Well, of course, through social media. We're on Facebook. They can message me. I'll be happy to get them my email or even my cell phone. Not a problem at all. But the biggest thing is, I've been engaging, visiting with them, knocking on doors, being in the neighborhoods. We've walked neighborhoods, and so I've had a lot of contact, a lot of face-to-face contact with them, which is really good for me, being a communicator and a listener. That's really good for me from an educational standpoint. And then also living in the community. I go to church in our community, shop in our community. So anytime that they see me out and about or, stop me, I enjoy visiting with people. So I like the face-to-face, but if they feel more comfortable emailing or giving me a call on my cell phone, that's fine also. And I've also attended a lot of the school events in the area, and also a lot of the city of Scott events and the town of Dusson events. So they can meet with me and engage and visit with me, in those platforms also.
Well, great. Thank you again. And that was David LeJeune. He's joining us. He's a candidate for Lafayette Parish School Board District 1. David, thank you again so much for your time, and good luck in the fall.
Hey, thank you for having me. I really appreciate this.
Great. Thank you so much.